You can mail us at support@economicsexamp.com or reach us at https://www.economicsexamhelp.com. 1A. Your company makes chairs in Western Massachusetts, and you have just obtained a large new order. Chairs produced in your Pittsfield plant cost $4 each on average, and those made in your North Adams plant cost $5 each on average. Transportation costs to your warehouse are the same from each plant. Therefore, you should order production increased in Pittsfield to cover the new order. 1B. Consider the following productivity matrix, expressed in dishes per minute. It means that Richard, if he only washes dishes, can wash 8 dishes per minute. The organization of tasks that maximizes the number of dishes that get washed and dried in 1 hour is that Richard washes dishes all the time and Gabriel dries dishes all the time. 1C. A local mattress store has the following ad: 5% low price guarantee. We promise to beat by 5% any advertised price that undercuts our price on comparable products. Washed dishes, dry dishes. Richard 8:10. Gabriel 7:8. Economicsexamhelp.com. Low price guarantees can sustain high prices. 2. Consider the following game payoff matrix. Left middle right up 10, 1 3, minus 10 0, 3 middle 6, 10 4, 12 minus 4, 11 down minus 5, 0 8, 5 1 8. B. A. 2A. Define, in one sentence, a dominant strategy. Start with: a dominant strategy is a strategy that. Does A have a dominant strategy? If so, what? Does B have a dominant strategy? If so, what? 2B. Define, in one sentence, a Nash equilibrium. Start with: a Nash equilibrium is a set of strategies, one for each player, such that, give all Nash equilibria of this game. 2C. If A could commit to an action, what action would it commit to? Suppose B could let A go first in choosing actions, i.e. make itself the second mover. Would B do so? Economicsexamhelp.com. 3. Old McAdams had a farm. And on this farm, he grows some corn. To grow corn, he needs a tractor. A new tractor costs $120,000. There is a very liquid resale market for tractors. A tractor that is 1 year old sells for $85,000 and a tractor that is 2 years old sells for $45,000. For simplicity, assume that all tractors 3 or more years old cannot be used to grow corn and sell for $0. These prices are expected to stay the same in the future. The variable cost of producing corn is the same regardless of whether you are using a tractor that is new, 1 year old or 2 years old. 3A. Old McAdams faces an interest rate of 10%. What is the user cost of capital associated with using a new tractor for 1 year? What is the user cost of capital associated with using a 1-year-old tractor for 1 year? What is the user cost of capital associated with using a 2-year-old tractor for 1 year? 3B. Old McAdams is formulating a plan for growing corn for the next 3 years. What is the optimal arrangement for the necessary tractor input over the 3 years? For instance, should he buy a new tractor and use it for 3 years, or something else? 3C. Suppose instead that the interest rate is 0%, and that present value over the 3 years involves no discounting. Now suppose that old McAdams can resell a 1-year-old or 2-year-old tractor as above, but must pay a broker fee. Economicsexamhelp.com. Of $10,000 for each sale. 3-year-old tractors are junked, which does not require paying a broker fee. Now, what is the optimal arrangement for the necessary tractor input over the 3 years? Explain your answer. Assume that at the end of the 3-year period, a tractor must either be sold or junked. 4. There are more amusement parks in Orlando, Florida than anywhere in the country. 10,000 visitors arrive daily and buy tickets for rides on the roller coasters. Each ride requires one ticket. Each person's demand for rides is given by P equals 10 to Q, and the average cost of providing rides on roller coasters is constant at $2 each. For A, given the large number of amusement parks, assume that the market for rides is perfectly competitive. What is the equilibrium ticket price? The quantity of tickets sold, consumer surplus, producer surplus. For B, suppose that all parks are owned by one firm, Big D. Big D decides to charge an admission fee for each park, as well as a ticket price per ride. What is the optimal admission fee and ticket price? What are total profits to Big D? How does the total surplus compare to the solution in 4A? For C, there are actually two groups of people who go to the parks, 2,000 local Floridians and 8,000 tourists who travel great distances to get there. The demand. economicsexamhelp.com. For each tourist is still P equals 10 to Q, but each local's demand is P equals 10 for quetzales. Locals can be identified because they have Florida ID cards. Now, what is the optimal admission fee and ticket price for locals? What is the optimal admission fee and ticket price for tourists? What are total profits now? For D, given your answers to 4C, what would a tourist be willing to pay for a fake Florida ID card? 5. The rock band U2 is coming to Boston to perform at Gillette Stadium, and you are in charge of pricing and selling the tickets. Assume all seats are the same and you only need to set a single price. Independent of the number of seats sold, you must pay the administration of Gillette Stadium a fixed amount of $500,000 to cover security and cleaning costs, which represents the only cost. There are 50,000 seats in Gillette Stadium. 5A, 1 month prior to the concert, U2's newest album is released, with rave reviews about how the band is much better than they have ever been before. Demand for tickets is given as QD equals 120.8p, where QD is in thousands of tickets and P is the price per ticket in dollars. What price P should you charge? How many tickets will you sell and what are your profits? Don't worry if there are empty seats, you can always give those seats away to worthy charities. economicsexamhelp.com. 5B. Suppose you have the option of adding some temporary seats on the grass field for $30 a seat. Assume these seats have the same view as the other seats and tickets for them would sell for the same price. Would you add any seats? If so, what price would you charge, how many tickets would you sell and what would your profits be? Explain your answer. 6. Silverman Brothers hires new full-time associates each year. There are two types of candidates for these positions, stars and normals. Stars have productivity $200,000 and normals have productivity $100,000. Each interview may be great, good, or bad. Stars never have a bad interview, normals never have a great interview, and those who have a good interview are equally likely to be stars or normals. These probabilities are summarized below. For instance, a candidate who has a good interview has expected productivity of $150,000. Suppose that Silverman Brothers is one of several investment banks that are similar in the eyes of job candidates. What would happen if Silverman offered $150,000 to all candidates who have a good interview? Would the productivity of those who accept the offer be greater than, equal to, or less than $150,000? Briefly explain. Interview outcome great, good, bad. Star 100%, 50%, 0%. Normal 0%, 50%, 100%. economicsexamhelp.com. 7. Acme Company hires employees to sell magazine subscriptions that sell for $20 each. Employees can exert